Ultimate Custom Night is the last FNAF game in the franchise that has a max mode. This is because it's also the last game made in the original Survive Until 6 AM format. Back when it came out in 2018, it was known as the Impossible Challenge. Even Scott himself didn't expect anyone to complete 50-20 mode. But as time went on, people found a way. And nowadays, 50-20 mode is actually pretty easy. Okay, I'm not gonna waste any more time here. If you've been following my channel at least for the last 2 months, you know I've completed a way harder challenge. 50-20 no death coin, but for UCN Deluxe, which is a mod that pretty much removes all the stalling mechanic from the animatronics and changes some characters to reduce the RNG. But we're not here to talk about that game. There's actually another Ultimate Custom Night mod that I haven't covered in this channel yet, and that's UCN Recode. UCN Recode is a mod that modifies Ultimate Custom Night in many different ways, creating a completely different experience from what you're used to seeing in the vanilla game. Pretty much every character has been changed, and some even got reworked completely. So to complete the UCN trilogy, it was time to tackle this challenge. I decided it was time to grind to complete 35-20 mode. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. In UCN Recode, some characters are only able to be activated together with another animatronic. So in the menu, it's 35 characters, but it's still technically 50-20. Before we get into the max mode itself, let's talk about the changes Recode brings. Wizard bonding now requires you to do nothing for him to disappear. I know, kinda weird, but basically if you put on the mask when his kill timer ends, he will jump scare you. I'm not gonna lie, this change has gotten me a few times. It's pretty troll. Mangle and Wither Chica work the same as vanilla. You have to stop them from getting through the vent system with the vent snare. But in this game, you cannot simply close the vent door when they get to the other side. Golden Freddy has been completely reworked. Instead of being a threat that appears whenever you flip down cams, he will spawn after a certain amount of time, and to get rid of him, you need to buy the death coin in the price counter and use it on them. If you fail to do so in time, they'll jump scare you. Innard Molten Freddy and Springtrap are now invisible in the vent system. The only way of knowing they're about to attack is by listening to their sound cues, and in the case for Springtrap, seeing his eyes in the vents. Innard and Molten Freddy will make their sound cue twice before jump scaring. For Phantom Freddy, the only difference is that if he gets to jump scare you, the office temperature will increase. Phantom BB and Phantom Mangle are slightly different. Instead of leaving your cam if you switch the system, you have to flip down the camera. If Balloon Boy jump scares you, temperature increases, and if Mangle does, she'll make a lot of noise. Nightmare Freddy's Freddles now require you to spam click the flashlight button to make them leave. The plushie animatronics have also been reworked. Kinda. Now, the plushie animatronics can spawn at random, and depending on which animatronic spawned, a sound cue will play.
Looks like something bad is about to happen.
When you hear this sound cue, you must buy the plushie for the corresponding animatronic. The catch here is that if you buy a plushie, that doesn't mean that animatronic is gone forever. They can reappear if they feel like it. So now you can no longer just preemptively buy the plushies and not have to care about them for the rest of the night. And obviously, Ken 2 stalling isn't available. The Nightmare Bears now will have their eyes appear in their respective doors as a warning that they're about to attack. You should only close the door when you hear their laughs though. Jacko and Chica is mostly the same, except if you have your office over 90 degrees, she'll start materializing, and there's no way to reset her to 0. So the more you mess up and let things get too hot, the more she'll appear until eventually you get jump scared. Nightmare BB gets a really generous change. Now he can stand up even if you didn't flip up the camera, but you don't get insta-killed if you flip the camera while they're up. To deal with him, you have to hold the flashlight button until they sit down again. But be careful, because if you hold the light on him too long while he's sitting down, he will jump scare you. OMC is slightly different. Instead of having a time when to press C to catch his fish, you now have to just spam C until he's dealt with. Funtime Foxy's change is a blessing. Their mechanic is still the same. You have to watch their showtime at the hour shown on the sign in their stage camera. However, 10 seconds prior to the showtime, you get a warning symbol above the Funtime Cove, and you're actually allowed to watch the showtime a moment before or a moment later. You're given 2 seconds to watch the showtime before and after the hour. Now for the duct animatronics. Happy Frog, Mr. Hippo and Pig Patch, and Ned Bear and Orville. All of these have been changed and they now have a really cool dynamic in the duct system. For Happy Frog, you now need to place the vent lure on her 2 times to make her reset to the top of the duct system. For Mr. Hippo and Pig Patch, you must close the duct wherever they are about to enter from. For Ned Bear and Orville, when they reach the bottom of the duct system trail, you have to turn on the heater until they reset. In case you're wondering, this is what's counted as bottom of the trail. Rockstar Freddy gets a new addition to their mechanic. Along with asking,
"Please deposit 5 coins."
They can also start tweaking out. When this happens, you must turn on the power AC until he calms down. When Rockstar Bonnie spawns, their guitar will always be in the prize corner, making them less RNG. Music Man gets a special attack like Rockstar Freddy. When you hear his cymbals making noise from side to side, you must turn on the sound ventilation to stop him from jump scaring you. Lefty no longer gets riled up by noise and temperature. Now he simply advances as time goes by. To make him lose progress, you must turn on the global music box. Last change is that most characters give you a lot of time to deal with them. I mean, just look at this. I guess this change is because of the removed stalling from the characters, or maybe because there's a harder version of every character, but we're not going to talk about that in this video, don't worry. With all that out of the way, let's get to how my grind went. With all these changes, I definitely had to build up before playing 3520, so I could get used to all the mechanics. The hardest mechanic I had to get used to was the fact that it takes so long for an animatronic to leave once you close the door on them. It's kind of ridiculous. Apart from that, I also needed to come up with a cycle and a way to get a lot of coins fast. Let's play a little quiz. What's the easiest way to get coins in UCN? A. Collecting coins in the cameras. B. Maskless farming like a true gamer that's never touched grass before. C. By beating up Rockstar Freddy until he gives back all the coins he stole. If you chose the letter B, you're correct! Or rather you would be if this was vanilla UCN, but it's not. If you chose the letter C, what's wrong with you? If you chose the letter A, ding ding ding, you're absolutely correct. In UCN Recode, clicking Helpy or closing a door on an animatronic does not give a coin, meaning that the maskless farming strat that most UCN pros use does not work for this game. But not all hope is lost. To balance that change and not leave the players so broke,
If you're a broke boy, just say so.
in every camera, 3 coins will always appear, meaning that the best way to farm coins is by simply scrolling through all the cams and collecting them. Now about the cycle. This is the cycle I used. Quick disclaimer, this might not be the best way to do it, but I did it and it worked, so I'm sharing it here. First, you want to check both hallway cams for Freddy and Rockstar Chica. If you see Rockstar Chica, change the sign, and if you see Freddy, close his door. Next, you'll check for Foxy if he's on the table. If not, skip this step. Now you want to check for Mr. Hugs and close their respective camera. Check the prize corner for a guitar, buying the death coin, or buying a plushie. Go on Funtime Cove to check if Plush Trap is there. Now you'll want to end up on the kitchen camera and swap to the duct system. There you're going to analyze who needs to get dealt with and also place a lure on Happy Frog. As you're doing this, you're also going to wind the music box for Puppet and change the music if Chica is mad. After all that is done, go on the vent system and make sure Mango and Wither Chica don't get through. And that's it! Though after 2 cycles, you'll also want to start checking Lefty's cam after Freddy and Rockstar Chica, since you'll start getting mad by then. To make it even more simple, just visualize it as a clockwise motion in the cams. Just remember that if anyone tries to disturb the cycle, those being the Phantoms and Nightmare Freddy, don't be afraid to drop the cams to deal with that, then resume the cycle afterwards. Now about the tool management. It's fairly simple actually. Start the night by buffering the power gen input. For the first cycle, you want to have only power gen on, and for the next cycles, basically whenever the office reaches about 80 to 85 degrees, turn on power AC. If the office is cool and Lefty isn't mad, you don't want any tools active. If you see Lefty getting pretty mad, turn on GMB. Now that's all of the nerdy stuff explained. It was time to put it all to practice. Although I had completed many other UCN challenges in the past, this game was way different from what I was used to when it comes to UCN gameplay, so I was honestly a little scared about the max mode. After building up to about 3320, I jumped to 3520. In case you want an idea of how to build up for the mode, here's how I did it. So now it was time for 3520. This was gonna be the real challenge. This max mode is currently placed at number 38 on the main list, which is considerably high. So I was expecting a big challenge, but it was easy? I don't know if it's because I did UCN Deluxe before this, but after getting down the new mechanics and getting used to the painfully slow door times, I completed 3520 in just about an hour of attempts. Whew. Okay. Let's go. 3520. Okay. 3520 completes. Thoughts? This mode is easy as fuck. This was definitely a big surprise to me, since most modes that are around this range of placement in the list take at least a few days for me to complete. This left me feeling kind of unsatisfied. I was hoping for at least a little bit of difficulty, but because it was so easy, I didn't really bother making a main channel video about it. I simply dropped the completion on my second channel and left it there. Man, what a bummer. I was really hoping this game would have been a bit more interesting. That's right. If 3520 wasn't hard enough, what about if me and another person completed it at the same time? Oh no, I died to Lefty, bro. What?
What? Aw, 555? I didn't conserve power, bro.
No, I beat it again. In case you're wondering, Deathlink in video games means that if you or a friend die while playing, the other player also has to reset from the last checkpoint. But the catch here is that dying in a FNAF game means you restart the entire night. So today's video is going to be exactly that. Me and Walug123 went on a mission to complete 3520 Deathlink. If I died at any point in my attempt, Walug would have to restart their attempt and vice versa. In case you don't know Walug123, they're a FNAF content creator and max modder just like me. A notable max mode they've completed is Funtime Gala Very Hard mode, which is currently placed at number 10 on the main list. Yeah, they're pretty good. But anyway, this would truly test my skills in this game, since I need to get consistent enough to win 3520 while Walug also wins on his side. So before we started attempting the challenge, it was time to go on a training arc. I needed to make sure I could win 3520 at any moment if we wanted to beat the Deathlink challenge. And so I practiced and practiced. After racking up literally one more win, I felt ready. Listen, I was feeling a little cocky and decided that I could just wing it. But anyway, it was time to complete the ultimate 3520 challenge. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go.
There you go. Okay, I gotta remember. Hang on, restart. Damn, bro.
So what
I've been
happened?
playing too much. I've played too much Hopeless Pursuit that I turned on the the power with the fan. Oh my god. And I don't do that in this game. And I keep forgetting that the characters do not go away. Well, I just got Bonnie. That is not something that I have. Okay.
Wait, you die?
Restart. I restarted. No. Oh, I got my Rockstar Bonnie. I completely forgot what I was doing.
Oh, good. Oh, what the f— I just got so readied. How the f did I forget that?
Oh.
Oh no, I died to lefty, bro. What?
What? Ready. 552.
Oh, I beat it, man. No.
That was so close. Aw, 555? I didn't conserve power, bro.
No, I beat it again. Dude, that was gonna be first try. Yeah, it didn't go as planned. To be honest, I was already expecting it to not be so clean, since I wasn't really that consistent at the mode, and I don't think Waluk had beaten the mode that many times before doing this as well. But we had one thing in common: the opinion that this mode is easy as shit. So after a couple hours of banging our heads against the wall, the run happened.
Please deposit.
Nice,
Oh.
I beat it.
Yeah, let's go!
Oh, yes!
Dude,
Oh my god.
I had Foxy's face in my office. I thought I was gonna die.
Oh shit! No, that's crazy.
I didn't
Oh
know
my
I
God,
didn't know
beat it.
Foxy lets you, like, literally
Yeah.
can be like his face in your office and you're fine.
Yeah, that's different in 3520. If it was Ultimatum, however,
Yeah,
that
when
would've
I
been-
saw the face, I was like, oh shit. Like, I kept playing because, like, why not? But, like, I didn't know that he actually lets you live. Like, that's crazy.
I feel
Easy.
like. So my thoughts. I'm a first.
Yeah, you
Say
can
my
go
thoughts
first.
before you can. Yeah. So my thoughts for this is that this mode is most likely like pretty much muscle memory, and I'm pretty sure I just look pretty forward to it because I've already had experience with UCN Deluxe and also Hopeless Pursuit, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And you, Luffuu?
Yeah, well, for me, basically, I never even thought about playing UCN Recode until you came up to my DMs and were asking to do this Deathlink thing, right? And the reason why I accepted was because when I beat 5020 in DC, or 5020 Deluxe in DC, from UCN Deluxe,
Yeah.
I wanted to make like a guide for it, like I do with like most of the games that I play, right? But because of like the whole like drama that game has, and like the game's gonna get deleted, and I don't know,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to do that. And then I was like, you know what? If that game's not gonna work out, then let's play the other UCN Deluxe. Well, the other UCN, yeah,
The
UCN
UCN
Recode.
mod, yeah.
Yeah. So then I started grinding the game, and I realized that this is actually pretty easy. I mean, obviously there's Ultimatum. That's like a whole nother thing, but if you want to beat 3520, like, this is definitely a mode that most beginners can probably do, honestly. And I think that it's pretty overrated in the list right now.
I personally think the same too. I'm sorry, Cesar, by the way, if you're watching this. He said that is harder than no postmortem.
Yeah, like, the thing with this mode is that, yes, it requires a lot of brain power, but at the same time, the kill timers of everyone, it's just too long, you know?
That's just what it does. Yeah.
So like
It's
you can
not
literally
that
just
hard.
like casually just have a stroll around the cameras, check this camera, check this one, and then you'll be fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like as long as you check like every camera and every like system once per flip, like you're fine.
Yeah.
And that's how Walug and I completed the 3520 Deathlink. Although it wasn't too challenging, I was definitely a little nervous since this is the first time I did something like this. But it was very fun, and I hope to be able to do this again with other modes and with other people. Before ending this video, I'd like to shout out Walug123. He's the one that came up to me about the Deathlink challenge, and you guys should definitely go check out his YouTube channel since he posts really cool content over there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and consider joining my Discord server. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next completion.